you mean the string of nonsensical emojis? Fire, sword, donut, spaceman, clock, dancing lady, flashlight, thumbs up. How am I supposed to know what that means?
I ignited the flaming sword, used it to cut a hole in space and time. Mum's light flooded through it, then it closed up behind her. All good.
Oswald, my friend!
Bruce Wayne, what a lovely surprise. You certainly are getting out quite a lot these days, aren't you?
The way I see it, everyone else in this town is having fun. Why shouldn't I?
I agree. You and your insanely large bank account are more than welcome here.
We're gonna need your shrink ray, Ray.
I'm not particularly fond of that name.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Fandom Zone, episode 127, starring Superman. Yay!
The Man of Steel.
He was flying around.
Yep. Yeah, my little Funko figure. Hello, everybody.
Episode 127 for the week ending January 27th, 2017.
I sense a 27 theme here.
Well, it kind of is.
Yeah, isn't it?
It is.
We're in the 27 club.
We are. Oh, let's not be in the 27 club, all right? I'm well past that. Though.
Yeah, exactly. So am I, so yeah.
We did lose another 27er.
Did we?
A rap star.
Who was that?
Died at the age of 27. I didn't recognize the name, but he died at the age of 27 just like a week ago.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and we lost the founder of IKEA.
Yeah.
And they are still putting together his casket.
Yeah.
I heard there's a few parts missing. They're serving meatballs at his funeral.
Nice.
I know. I'm the worst. I am the worst.
Hashtag too soon.
This poor man died. I was making tweets about it. It was terrible. Okay, so anyway.
So what are we going to talk about this week, Karen?
I'm sorry. Hold on.
What is this bizarre segue that's happening?
Yeah. So the Phantom Zone. This week we'll be breaking it into A and B again. We have 6 shows. We'll be talking about Lucifer 312, Supergirl 311, The Flash 411, Black Lightning 102, Arrow 611, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 509.
Nice. So 3 and 3 this week.
That's right. A little evener.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully we can get through this. The plan is an hour. Let's see what happens.
Oh, it won't be an hour, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So we do have a bit of a contentiousness about this first episode here.
Yeah, we do.
312, but I think you're going to find that it's not super contentious. I just have an overall beef.
I'm dying to know what that beef is. So,
okay.
All right. So this is all about her.
Yeah. All about her. Yep.
Written by Alex Katznelson, directed by Tara Nicole Weir this week.
Okay. My A story is all about him. Oh, right. Her.
Yeah.
B story, Death Wish. That is, of course, about Kane.
Right.
C story is Renaissance Dan.
Nice.
Learned something new about Dan this week. And apparently it's something that Kevin Alejandro actually does. He surfs.
Surfs up, Big Kahuna. Let's hang Big Ten.
Looking pretty good, actually, this week's episode. STA, that would be sexually transmitted
amenadiel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Ella Disenchanted.
Yeah, I could have done without that whole STA story.
Me too. It was just dumb.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Now,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't know.
You sound like you were going to head into a rant right there.
I was a little, but it's not a huge rant.
Okay.
Here's my whole beef with this. I was really enjoying this season, and then I realized in this episode we're back to the Lucifer selfish, and then all of a sudden it's back to being about Chloe at the end. And this seems to have been a really big formula way back. And if they fall back into this, Lucifer's thinking all about himself, and then back to Chloe, and it gets into that simple sort of, he hasn't come anywhere on his journey anymore. I mean, if he's back to the old Lucifer, then I'm really going to get mad, because this was a really simple storyline, and it showed nothing of his growth.
It does seem like that they're trying to take a step back here. I don't know if that's deliberate, or maybe this was just an old script that they kind of tweaked up.
I don't know, but
yeah, it does seem like, yeah, the show really should be moving forward at this point. Here we are, we're halfway through season 3.
Hmm?
Chloe still does not know that Lucifer is actually the devil.
Right.
Everybody else seems to know but her.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb that she doesn't know.
And now it's just like, okay, well, now we're just like, like Lois and Clark trying to keep Lois Lane from finding out that Clark Kent is Superman at this point.
Right. And okay, I get Ella doesn't know, Dan doesn't know, but they're people that
they
never
don't need to know.
Right. They never need to know. Ella, I think, might actually kind of know in a certain way, but
it would not surprise me if Ella finds out before Chloe at this point.
It wouldn't either me. But I just feel like even from last week, this is a huge step backwards. It really bugged me to see him under the pier. He gets her this not press badge, but the surfer badge,
right.
She's going to go undercover. And you can clearly tell it's him being selfish. It's not him actually trying to help her. And then she goes into the interrogation room and just, brushes by him and goes in with Dan. And it's a huge setback for the show, and it really bothers me. And that's why I lowered my rating in this case. It was a setback for the entire arc. And so I'm thinking it's so rudimentary. It's bothering me. I hope it doesn't stay there.
Right.
But they are taking this step back because the Chloe Lucifer partnership has really kind of been fractured. And if they don't get that back together, then I'm gonna be really disappointed.
Yeah.
So
I've always had a problem with Lucifer being so self-absorbed and clueless about his relationship with Chloe.
Agreed.
And how to handle it. Because think about this. This is Lucifer. He's been around for thousands of years.
Yep.
He ruled hell for thousands of years.
Right.
He cannot be this clueless about everything.
Right.
It's just, regardless of how faithful to the comic book it is.
Right. If anyone knows the nature of man,
right,
it's Lucifer.
Right. He's not dumb.
No.
But he's being written as being dumb and just so self-absorbed that it affects his relationships with everybody else.
Right. And we actually got some really important information in this episode, and that part of the storyline is advancing. And so when I saw the other part of the storyline taking that much of a step backwards, it worries me.
Right.
That they're thinking too much in this one direction and not enough in the other. And it's not the love affair part that bothers me. It's the Lucifer, Chloe, even their friendship. Because they're not even a team right now. And it bugs me.
Well, it feels to me like, they're just trying to deliberately drag, the slam on the brakes on the relationship. Mm-hmm. I think they're worried that, okay, if we go too far forward, we're going to lose that chemistry.
Right. Well, they're losing everything.
I understand that.
Right.
They're overanalyzing. They're being overly cautious here.
Right.
And and they're just ignoring. They're sacrificing. Well, we had all these episodes where Lucifer's talking to Dr. Linda. Dr. Linda's talking to Chloe. Maze talks to Chloe. Maze talks to Lucifer. Yada yada. Amenadiel, etc.
Right.
So, yes, there should be some personal growth for Lucifer here.
Right.
We should see something.
Yeah. And there just isn't.
And they're just slamming on the brakes on that.
No, in fact, it was so bad that he put a sexy picture of himself on her desktop.
Right.
I mean, how clueless.
It was very season 1 Lucifer.
Yes, very.
So, but we're here in season 3, and it makes no sense. This is why I was wondering why it was, like, maybe it was an old script that was touched up.
Yeah, at least that storyline.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what bugged me so much.
Right.
But anyway, so that was my main sticking point, which is a big one.
I think it's a fair one.
Right. And so that's what made me drop my grade down.
That's fair.
Now, as far as the other parts of the storyline, I thought it was good. I mean, especially the Death Wish part. So let's get into that. We have Cain, who now, when we left him, he was, just picking himself up off the floor.
Right after, Lucifer stabbed him.
After Lucifer has just proven that he is actually Cain. And so they have this chat, and he's asking Lucifer, I mean, the whole point of this episode is that he has revealed that he is cursed to walk the earth alive for killing his brother.
Like Cain in Kung Fu. Oh.
Exactly, Cain.
I'm going to walk the earth. What do you mean? What do you mean walk the earth?
Right. Well, he means walk the earth. But in this case, it's literal. He has to walk the earth alive for eternity. And Lucifer now has made a deal with him to find a way to kill him. And in return, he's going to ask a favor. I'm guessing his favor is going to be to find some way to have his wings and face restored to the way they were. But how is Cain going to do that?
Well, here's the thing. Cain said in this episode, Lucifer asked him right out. It's like, what did you do with my devil face? When, why did you bring my wings back? And Cain is all like, I had nothing to do with this.
Right.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. So there's my issue is how is he, what kind of favor is he going to ask of Cain? The whole deal is I give you a favor, you give me a favor. So what favor is he going to want from Cain? And the only thing I can come up with is to take his wings and give his devil face back. But how is that going?
Yeah, how is that possible? Yeah.
Right.
Unless there's some kind of ritual or something that he could do. We don't know.
Right.
We'll see. We might have to see on that one.
I'm guessing we'll have to see because we don't know yet.
I just want Cain to get a house of mystery. Can we have that?
Sure.
Because like in this comics.
Why not?
Give Cain a house of mystery.
Right.
And, maybe have like a house of secrets nearby with his brother Abel.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
And then have Dream show up and
maybe he start sporting a big goatee and that would be nice.
And they keep fighting and killing each other.
Yeah, that would be nice. And
I know.
And Abel would have this cute little like gargoyle named Goldie the Gargoyle.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, go read
Neil Gaiman's Sandman. Do yourselves a favor.
Yeah, because that is one of the most heartbreaking yet funny relationships.
Yeah.
In that book is Cain and Abel. He's very duplicitous, and they bicker a lot, and then of course he ends up killing his brother all the time.
Well, it's kind of taken right out of 70s DC horror comics, the House of Mystery and House of Secrets. And that kind of dark humor, where you have like Cain killing Abel repeatedly.
Exactly.
So I kind of want to see that, but
that would kind of be funny.
But I don't know I don't think we're gonna get that.
Look, if he ends up going to hell, that's what he's gonna have to relive, isn't it? I mean, we're not gonna see it.
No.
But that will most likely be what he has to relive.
Yeah. I just wanted, although I would like to see Abel somehow.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
Played by Terry Hatcher. Or a frog.
No, not Terry Hatcher, because this is Tom Welling. So maybe Erica Durance.
Okay. Erica Durance. That'd be good.
Yeah. How's that?
That's good.
Okay. All right, so let's see what else. Renaissance Dan, we kind of talked about a little bit, that he's got this surfer interest that we didn't know about.
Yeah, so now we've learned something else about him. Not only does he like improv, but he likes to surf.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. I tweeted to Kevin Alejandro saying how much I enjoyed seeing him very cut and his surfing spot, and it, you know, got a few retweets.
I'm sure it did.
So yeah, there was some love given to Kevin Alejandro on that. I liked that he got to go in, and now I think part of that whole storyline was so Dan could be included in the investigation instead of Lucifer.
Right.
So I get that, but still,
well, it was good that because it gave Alejandro something to do as Dan.
Right.
And I like the part where Lucifer kind of leaves him hanging, where he's supposed to call in with this call phrase if he gets into trouble with the surfer gang.
Right. He and Kane end up arguing,
and they can't,
so they don't
pay any attention. They just completely ignore him, easily forgotten.
Right.
And then
so long.
He gets decked, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah, but luckily, you know, they're not the killer, so
right.
Yeah, they end up having
this big surfer funeral ceremony thing.
Yeah.
So,
which was kind of touching, I thought.
Yep.
Out there in the water. So yeah, it ends up being this rich lady who doesn't want them on her beach,
right.
And
which I live in a condo complex, so I can totally understand those kind of people, because there's always these people that want to just completely tell you how to live your lives.
Exactly.
And
homeowners associations are the worst.
Exactly. Starting crap. Yeah, if you live in a home with a homeowners association, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Can't paint your door red.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have the whole STD thing. Oh.
This was so uncomfortable, and I'm just like, why is this even a subplot?
Right. It was so Maze could find out they were together.
Right.
Once.
That was they couldn't come up with something better, from some better reason for Dr. Linda and Amenadiel to sit in a restaurant together and have Mazikeen watching and going, grr, arg.
Right. Now, do you think her gifting the knife to Dr. Linda's going to come back?
Oh,
at
definitely.
Any point?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's going to be what do you call it?
Foreshadowing.
No, a gun.
Chekhov's gun.
Yeah, Chekhov's knife. Is that going to be
Chekhov's? Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So either she's going to use that to try to defend herself against Mazikeen, or what have you.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't either. I don't want to see Dr. Linda and Mazikeen feuding.
No, me either. Me either. I do wish she'd blame Amenadiel for that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, it was Amenadiel who made the moves on Dr. Linda.
Right. But Mazikeen's not going to see it that way, because she's going to see it as a betrayal of her friendship.
Right.
More.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is wrong, but hey.
Yeah.
Mazikeen. And, you know, she's got those pregnancy hormones. I mean, what? She's not pregnant on the show, obviously. But,
the character.
Right.
Right.
Okay,
Although I'm surprised they didn't write that in. You think they would have written it in that Amenadiel knocked up Mazikeen.
And they had Genesis?
Yes. And which becomes, to Preacher, yes.
Right. That would have been great.
How perfect would that have been?
It would have been. And it goes back in time.
Why don't you listen to me, Lucifer? Show writers, come on! I give you the House of Mystery and House of Secrets, and tying it into Preacher and all this, and you give me nothing in return.
I'm sorry.
Oh, well.
Okay, so on to Ella Disenchanted. Excuse me. We start off with Ella feeling like, I don't know, she's just out of sorts, not talking very much, and we wonder what's going on, and we realize that Pierce yelled at her in the last episode, and she is a little demoralized.
Yeah, so Chloe ends up sticking up for her.
And Charlotte
Yeah, especially Charlotte.
Charlotte by the coffee pot.
Yep. Throwing the shade majorly.
Huge shade at Pierce.
Throwing the major Cylon shade on.
That's right. You want sugar? Cream? There you go. Right in the garbage. She's just not having it.
She has zero S to give.
That's right. And she makes sure that Pierce knows that, hey, that's my friend. You don't yell at my friend. She was just trying to be nice to you. What has she ever done to you? And he realizes, oh, well, that wasn't nice.
Did you realize it, or just like, oh, I guess I better clear this up so that Charlotte doesn't like.
I think that's most
keep gunning for me.
Yeah, and I think once he realized he had to stay and kind of keep his cover up, he decided, well, I better apologize, or else,
Beep beep beep. This is the truck backing up. Beep beep.
Exactly. So. Now, one of the things that bothered me a little bit about that storyline is that Ella, she was trying to get her mojo back with Lucifer, and that didn't work. She said, this isn't me. And Lucifer said, nope, it's not you.
Yeah, she basically tried to be all abusive and confident, and like, that didn't work out.
Yeah, but Lucifer, you didn't really give her any confidence boosting advice at that point. You just said, nope, it's not you, and gave her the things back and walked out. Okay, that wasn't nuts.
Well, he was all wrapped up in his own drama. To care.
So that was a little niggly to me. And then she worked up courage with Charlotte and Chloe and all that. And just as she's about to confront Pierce, he apologizes. So she didn't take any power back at all.
No.
And I'm like...
Well, no, I take that back, because she did tell him that he was rude and unprofessional.
She did.
So she did lay that out.
A little bit, yeah.
And then
I feel
he said she was right.
And
then he said he was sorry. He said he was in a bad place. And then she immediately asked if he needs a hug.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
and then said, I'll miss you.
Don't give him a hug.
Yeah.
Just don't.
He's not deserving of the hug.
He does not deserve a hug. And again, that kind of bugged me, although it is in her character.
Yeah, but she didn't have to be that.
No.
Capitulate. She didn't have to capitulate that easily.
She should have maybe held a grudge for a day. Don't you think?
But Ella's character isn't really the grudging type.
No, I know, and it's a fault.
Yeah, it is.
It's what made her the way she was in that episode.
Right.
Because she doesn't hold a grudge, so when he snapped at her, she had no defense for it. She just immediately retreated into herself, and so, yeah. Okay, and like we said...
It wasn't a good look for her, let's just...
No.
Yeah.
And like we said, I mean, the gist of the whole Lucifer thing was he wanted Chloe to investigate this whole thing for her. And so in order to do that, he tried to make it all about her. And instead of actually making it all about her, he was making it all about himself. And through all this stuff, he actually did kind of make it about her, but he didn't really.
Right.
And there were some funny moments. I liked his whole filing method,
right.
By hot.
And of course, she's, by the characteristics that he laid out, yeah. Like ugly guys and
hot defendants, people who completely did not do it.
And of course, gets all upset, like, "Oh, this is going to take me forever to fix."
I love her first reaction is, "I can't even with this." That was her first reaction. I can't even with this. It was literally what she said in front of her desk. And
what I want to get is like, okay, all the other cops around the area,
they just sit there and watch him.
Yeah, they just let him do this. Like, nobody steps in and says, hey, don't do this.
They are used to seeing him around there, and they're used to seeing him at her desk.
Maybe they don't really like Chloe that much. Still. Remember, they started off not really liking Chloe that much.
That's true.
So maybe they're just kind of glad to see her.
They're just probably used to seeing him.
Taking down a peg.
Probably just used to seeing him, figuring that he's doing something for her. And
right.
Yeah. And he did try and detangle what is that? What is that thing called? Now I've forgotten it.
What thing?
The Newton's cradle thing with the balls that go. Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I don't know what it's called.
That little thing that sits on your desk.
Is it the little balls that go?
Yeah, it's called. I think it's called the Newton's cradle.
Okay.
He tried to detangle that. It was all tangled up, and
I didn't catch that part.
Oh yeah, he did. So he sat and he ate at her desk, and what else was he doing at her desk? He was doing all kinds of weirdness there. Was he talking on the phone? And oh yeah, he talked to Maze on the phone.
Right.
And just lots of weirdness happening there at the desk.
Well, and then when she goes to try to straighten out his mess, he's like, "But I spent hours on that."
Right. Exactly. And he does actually put it in some kind of order that helps her solve the case, which is the dumbest thing ever. Right.
Right.
But you just know that she's going to have to spend hours redoing
that darn Lucifer.
That darn Lucifer, yeah. And it's so dumb because it's just it's dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot express how dumb it is that he would do that. He knows better, right?
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah.
You would think. But again, that's not how he's being written.
No.
So shame on you, Alex Katznelson, for the script.
It's a funny gag for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And other than that,
it shouldn't have been an entire episode of this.
No.
All right.
Yeah. So that's how I feel about it. Do you want to give our grade?
Yeah, let's go ahead and give our grade now.
Okay.
I don't think is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, it felt like a filler episode that had an important part. That was the deal between Lucifer and Cain.
Yeah. And
otherwise, it just wasn't.
Yeah, it was just basically, that was the only thing that really mattered. There was two things that mattered. There was the Mazikeen finding out about what the relationship between Dr. Linda and Amenadiel, and then the stuff with Cain and Lucifer.
Right. And it all coming together, why he was compiling all this information about them, because he figured Chloe could weaken him enough to kill him.
Yeah.
And that made sense. So, yeah. So we did get that information about Cain. And
so we'll just have to see where it goes, because, Lucifer is talking about, I've got a plan to kill you.
Oh, by the way, where's the knife?
Which
knife? The knife that he sent his mother to another dimension with?
Oh.
Couldn't that kill Cain?
The blade of Azrael.
Right.
Yeah, isn't that locked in a safe or something?
Well, unlock it.
Yeah.
Couldn't that kill him?
We don't know. Maybe not.
Well, it
because the whole thing. Remember, he has the mark of Cain, so that's supposedly that keeps him from dying. So they have to get rid of that mark maybe first before he can be killed.
Okay, but that killed an angel.
Yeah, I understand that.
It obliterated.
We don't know how this curse works.
Okay.
Yet.
So that's just
there's going to be some rules.
I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
All right. So my grade, and again, I took it down just because of that one little disappointing thing. 7 Lucy wallpapers.
Right.
And you gave it?
And I gave it 8 surfboard cords, because that ended up being the murder weapon that was used, and turns out that the big snobby beach owner had a surfboard in her house.
Right. Belonging to the murdered guy.
Yeah. So.
Except she didn't own the beach. There are no private beaches in California.
Yeah.
She wanted it to be private.
Yeah, she wanted to be private, so she posted some signs, and even Chloe's just like, look, you can't post signs on the beach.
Right.
It's not your beach.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can't tell those crazy kids to stay off your lawn when it's not your lawn.
Yeah.
Right. So that was the gist of the whole thing.
Pretty much.
All right, on to Supergirl.
All right, 311 Fort Rozz. Get it? Fortress. Yeah. Written by Gabriel Lanis and Anna Muskie-Goldwyn. Directed by Gregory Smith. And what's our A, B, and C, Karen? Shame on you.
For the makeup.
Oh, yeah, well.
There's always one mean girl at a sleepover.
Yeah.
Adventures in babysitting.
Mm-hmm.
And what's old is new again. That is the message in the bottle.
Got it. All right. So there's always one mean girl to sleep over. I'm presuming this has to do with, well, there's actually two mean girls in this episode.
Yeah, I'm not talking about those two mean girls.
Okay, what are you talking about then?
I'm talking about the sleepover. Now, there's, okay.
Set this up. Set it up.
This is the stupidest premise for this thing.
Okay.
Supergirl sent Fort Rozz into orbit around this, what is it, a red planet or something?
No, it was a blue star.
Blue star.
Which
means that all men die.
Yeah, so, okay. I'd love to know the science. Why a blue star, which is cooler than our sun,
right?
Because it's a blue star, then somehow, how is a star able to affect only one chromosome?
Right.
Particular chromosome pairing.
Right.
Makes no sense.
Right.
Whatsoever.
Right.
Yes. I had a problem with that.
I have a huge problem with that.
Because it's basically just like, well, we don't want any guys on this.
I have a different rating issue with this one as well. This one would have been lower, except for one thing.
Okay. All right.
So my grade looks good here, but I keep saying this episode is pretty horrible, but there's something that elevated it. Okay.
See, I kind of enjoyed this one, but because yes, that premise of the Y chromosome is bad.
Horrible.
Is dumb as all get out. It's dumb.
Yes.
It's Arrow level dumb. But.
Arrow. Yes. And I keep saying shame on you to the writers.
But ignoring that, I was able to just shove this aside, and I'm just like, okay, they're just setting up like, okay, we want a kind of a female character spotlight,
right? And
I'm okay with that.
And I'm okay with it because it gave us Livewire and Psy back in this episode,
right? And so Livewire episodes are always fun.
Oh, yes.
And Britt Morgan is always great as Livewire, and she was always great as Debbie Pelt on True Blood, if you remember her from True Blood.
Yep.
Psycho Debbie. And then we also get Supergirl paired with Saturn Girl. Now, here's the fun part in this episode. Supergirl, because of a blue star, a blue sun, essentially,
right,
has no powers.
Right, except in the comics, it's not like that.
Right. No, the only powers the only thing that should take away her powers are a red sun.
Right.
Because it's like where she came from.
Isn't she supercharged with the blue sun?
You would think because of being, because it's a lower sun.
Right.
So yeah, you would think that she would be pretty powerful on this, but no,
right.
But no.
But no, all the powers are gone.
And here's the thing that got me. Okay, she knows this. She has no powers. Everybody else has powers. There are two villains of hers going along in this mission. Why is she at least not in some form of armor?
Right.
Why?
I know. And she has told both of those villains that she doesn't have power.
Right. They know this. They could backstab her at any minute.
I need you to have my back.
Yeah.
Because I don't have powers.
Right.
And Livewire's all like,
really? Really? Yes, put the pinky to the corner of the mouth. All Dr. Evil.
Right.
Really?
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 Yeah, okay. It doesn't make sense at all.
No.
Now, that being said.
Yes, it was a fun episode.
We still got Livewire and Psy. Psy creeps me out a little bit with the weird, creepy.
Yeah, because she likes to get in
fairy
everybody's
tales
head.
Or whatever.
Like to get in everybody's head and mess
Yeah.
with them. Yeah.
Right. But she's still fun.
Right.
I like watching her. And she is, I believe, the impetus for the breaking wall between Sam and Rain.
Okay.
I think we're going to see that breakdown now because she has cracked it
I have another theory, too, about Sai.
Okay.
Because there was this one moment where she gets inside Saturn Girl's head.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what she did.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if maybe this will activate telepathic powers in Supergirl or Saturn Girl.
Oh. Maybe.
Or at some point Saturn Girl is going to flip and be under Sai's control.
Oh.
I think
That's
she maybe made her a sleeper agent. So I've got those two theories.
Very interesting.
So we'll see. But it did seem like kind of odd. Like they made a point of showing how that she got inside her head, but we don't know what happened. What was the purpose of it?
Just that she did. Yeah.
Just that she.
Yeah, I just breezed by that. Thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and she did make that little crack where Sam kind of woke up and realized she was Sam for a minute.
Yeah.
And then Rain took back over right away.
It just seemed like they passed over it rather conveniently.
They did. I didn't even notice it.
You're welcome.
I did notice it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But do you think good theories?
I didn't even think about it. Yes, I think that's a great
something. I think there's going to be a later payoff with that at some point.
Oh yes, something is going to come of that.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
No,
maybe unless, like I said, Saturn
unless
Girl. Unless Saturn Girl finally becomes a telepath like she should be, in addition to being a telekinetic. Yeah.
Unless it awakens her.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, so that made the episode great as far as I'm concerned. The whole addition of
the team up, yeah.
Right. Now they go to this Fort Rozz that's been thrown up there, and of course everybody's pissy because all the men are gone and they've been left there to die.
Right.
Up around this planet. The people that had powers that shouldn't have powers, and all the blah 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 blah, they're all mad. I lost my powers. I've been stuck here in these handcuffs. I'm this, I'm that. They're all, of course, mad.
Right.
So they're out to kill Supergirl, who conveniently has no powers. So they're having to defend themselves on the ship. They're looking for this Jinda character.
Yeah,
to find out more about Rain.
Yeah, so this was kind of cool because we had the actress Sarah Douglas who played Ursa in Superman 1 and 2.
So great.
She's playing Jinda Kal Rozz.
And if you don't know who Ursa is, she is the woman who is one of General Zod's commanders.
Yeah, essentially like his main lieutenant.
Right.
Yeah, and she's awesome. I love her Ursa in the Superman movies, especially Superman 2.
Yeah.
And she's just great. So it was great. I was kind of bummed though because they end up killing her off.
I know, so she can't come back.
And I'm like, what? You couldn't just
but she was good. She was good for the few minutes she was on.
Yeah, pretty much.
And she's been in a lot of stuff, hasn't she?
Oh, yeah. She's been in some other stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. So it was cool that she was on. She gives Supergirl some ominous news and all this. And then, of course, Rain shows up and the guys are trying to give them messages and other things happen. And Rain is, kind of defeated by Sai and Livewire.
Right. As
a joint, juncture thing. And Rain ends up killing Livewire. R.I.P.
Yep. Well, unless, remember, she just turned to ash, but maybe, she's still
a pure energy being?
She could still be out there as electricity.
Oh, that would be nice.
So maybe if we need to bring her back, we can bring her back.
No one's ever dead, right?
Not in comic books.
No.
Even if you see a body, and even then, They're not
As
dead.
we'll find out later in part B. No one's ever dead.
No one's ever dead. Not if you need them. They don't
Right.
stay
Well,
dead.
I'm gonna miss Livewire.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by this, but again, they could always bring her back if they need to.
I guess.
Somehow.
Yeah. A clone. So yeah, Sai kind of breaks down that barrier between Sam and Rain.
Right.
Enough to kind of, stop her from what she's doing.
Yeah, we kind of get for a moment, we actually get Sam
Mhm.
in her Rain costume.
Right.
When we're wondering what's going on. First thing you would think she would say is, "What the hell am I wearing?"
Right.
Right?
Right. Exactly.
But still, she's just like, she's confused.
It's not long enough.
No,
really.
because she's kind of out of it. So she's
Right.
just like, what's going on?
And
what
then
am I
Rain,
doing here? Where am I?
Right. Rain reasserts herself.
Right.
The situation resolves with, Livewire dying and Rain escaping. The boys end up with, with their home remedy and get the girls off.
Yeah.
Off the planet.
Phrasing.
Yeah. Hold on.
Phrasing.
Have it here? No. Oh, yes, I do.
Phrasing.
There we go.
And they managed to get the girls back home. Let's put it that way. Okay, so the mean girl would have been Rain. The mean girl crashes the sleepover.
Yeah.
She's Rain. So that was heartbreaking for me because I love Livewire. And Livewire and Sai are the reason I rated it this high. Here's one of the reasons I didn't. What's old is new again?
Okay.
Could we have brattier guys here? We have Brainiac and Wynn arguing
Right.
over how to save the girls. Dudes, just get down to it and try and save them.
They were just being overly competitive. I didn't see
I
it
know
as,
you're
I
mad
didn't see
that
it as
you
an
couldn't
argument.
go on the mission.
Right.
You're not being demasculinized. Just try and save the girls.
Right.
So Brainiac is so effete and just, so you don't have cold fusion? Oh.
Well, think about it. Think about it, though. If he's from the 31st century,
Yeah.
coming back to 21st century technology is like being in the Stone Age.
Okay.
So
sure.
he's probably like, what? You don't have this. You don't have this.
Yeah.
Come on, really? But he should be aware of this.
He should be.
He's
Brainiac.
He's Brainiac 5, yes.
Right.
So, but it's used for comedic effect.
I get it.
Really, yeah, I don't.
He's so bratty.
And he is kind of a snob sometimes. He can be kind of a dick.
This episode,
Yeah.
he is take the kind of out of both of those statements.
Okay. All right.
And Wynn is not helping any. Can I say that? Not helping any?
No.
And finally, he just breaks through and goes, message in a bottle. Perfect. Voyager.
Well, Wynn's probably upset because Brainiac 5 could steal all his lines now.
Yes, that's true.
Because he's the tech genius guy.
Right.
So
that's true.
This probably feels threatened.
Right. Okay. So I have to say here.
Yes.
Voyager.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. Really. V'ger, if you're a Star Trek fan.
No.
Yeah.
Is all I have to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
great.
it was Voyager 2. It was Voyager 2.
Yeah. Okay. Let's use it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Why not?
Sure. Hand wave. Okay. Whatever you say.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's something, but there's so few things we have put in space.
Yes.
It just so happens.
There's all these satellites that are cluttering up Earth's orbit right now.
Right.
We have so much space junk up there because there are so many satellites.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially if you watch Futurama, you know how they when they take off from Earth and they plow through all the
There's
satellites.
always 10 things.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's around Earth's orbit.
Yes.
He's talking about bouncing something off of something out in space.
Well, you had to get a remote satellite.
Right.
And the audience is going to I know Voyager.
Right.
So from a writing standpoint, it was trying to be
simplify
the plot.
Right. So, okay.
Because remember, we have to get this. We have to do this in an hour. We can't just lay this whole thing out.
I'll allow it.
Yes.
But it was just they were so petulant, and it was difficult to watch.
Right.
Right. Okay.
It was.
And one of the things I need to mention about this whole the storyline back in the DEO, how many times is Mon-El going to offer his shoulder or ear to Kara? I'm a good listener. Okay, but you're my ex.
Right.
I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Well, Mon-El is not really helping the situation.
No.
Especially since, hey, dude, aren't you supposed to be married?
Right.
Why are you stringing Kara along?
Right.
It's not a good look. Bro.
No. I just wish that they would leave her alone.
They're trying to throw the shippers, the caramel shippers,
right,
a bone.
Okay, and I loved them together.
Right.
But right now, I'm hurting for Kara.
Right.
Leave her alone.
I think they're all the caramel shippers are just hoping that Saturn Girl dies, and then he'll be single again, and then Kara can hook up with Mon-El, and it'd be so dreamy.
Well, fine. If that's what they want to do, fine. Then do it. But if they're not, then leave her alone.
Right.
Stop harping on it.
It's not a good look for Mon-El.
It is not. And it's not a good look for Saturn Girl either.
No.
Leave her alone. I love you, Kara. Just let me talk to you a little bit. No.
Saturn Girl just is trying to be her friend.
Yeah. No.
But, yeah.
Out. Get out. It just happens in every episode. One or the other of them has to go and see if she's okay. No. You're not her sister.
How will I be okay if you don't leave me alone? Yeah.
It's getting old.
It is.
Okay.
Right.
And then Adventures in Babysitting.
Now this I loved.
This was great.
I really enjoyed this little thing with Ruby and Maggie.
Alex.
And Alex. Yes, but there was some Maggie stuff thrown in.
There was.
Yes.
Now, we do have a very, very hurt Alex who has been contacted by Maggie. She wants her passport because she is moving out of the country. So this is closure for her, but it hurts.
Right.
And she is at home because she was
injured.
She has a broken leg.
Yeah, she's got a broken leg, remember, from previous episode.
Last week, yes. And it's a bad broken leg. So.
Yep. So she's on crutches.
Not that their 30th century technology couldn't fix it, but hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So she's watching Sam, and
don't you have one of those little thingies like on Star Trek? You can just wave, go. I can't even whistle.
Right.
And then
if Cal was hurt, they would probably heal him, right?
Yeah, that.
Right?
Right.
So Alex is on crutches. Sam, she's not doing anything. So as Sam is going to go out on a business meeting, which she never does.
Right.
And we'll talk about that in a minute. That's a little addendum at the end. She decides she's going to watch Ruby for her. And Ruby has problems of her own. She has a bully who is texting her mean messages, and I guess she's spreading rumors about her at school and all kinds of other stuff. Now, in order to forget about her own troubles,
yep,
which is Maggie asking for her passport and all this other stuff, she decides she's going to go all FBI on this little girl, which I loved.
Yep, it was very clever the way they did this, and it made good use.
There are people that are saying, so you're saying it's okay to bully a bully. And
yes.
You know what I say?
Yes.
It is okay.
Sometimes you need to stand up to the bully people.
I agree.
Yeah.
So she goes over to the little girl's house and says, you're breaking some laws. And guess what? She is breaking some laws.
Right.
And says you better cut it out. Or maybe, I should talk to your parents. Oh, no, please don't talk to my parents. Yeah, so...
All she did was scare the crap out of her.
That's really all she did.
Yeah, she didn't, do anything.
The capper is that Ruby gets to stand right outside the door and listen to the whole thing, which, again, just the cherry on top of that little retribution sandwich, which I love.
And if you notice, it was also a way for Alex to kind of have some mom time with Ruby.
Right.
Because we know that Alex has wanted kids, but has been unsure about if she would be a good mom.
Yep. And it wraps up that whole little, hey, it's closure with Maggie, but it kind of proves that I did the right thing.
Right.
So Maggie is going away and I'll never see her again, but it's the right thing.
And hey, they're set it up so that, well, if they kill off Rain, then Maggie could adopt Ruby and have a daughter.
Okay. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
At the end of this episode, we see a new world killer.
Yes.
So do we think that perhaps this wall is going to break down between Sam and Rain, and they're going to turn her into the world killer?
Well, if you listened to the Phantom Zone last week, we talked about this.
Right.
My theory that Sam is eventually, as Rain, is going to end up teaming up with Supergirl to take down the world killers.
Right.
Because
are we still believing that?
That seems to be what they're setting up.
Yeah. So
it's a theory.
Yeah. So let's hope that she is not going to.
I have not seen anything to discourage that theory yet.
I hope that she's not going to adopt Ruby. I hope that she will be able to hold on to her child. I really don't want this whole...
Maybe they'll eventually write it out so that she doesn't have powers anymore.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
She'll lose her powers.
Right.
All right.
Okay, so anything else about this episode?
Yes, at the end of the episode, Sam confesses to Alex that she has lost time. So Alex is going to do a bit of doctoring.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who knows about Kryptonian physiology?
I wonder.
Alex.
Yes.
So there might be some revelations coming up.
I would think so.
Yeah. So no, that's it there.
All right.
And as I said, I would have given this a lower grade, but because of Livewire and Psy and the bullying storyline, I bumped it up. So I give it 8 greasy diners. That is where Livewire was working as Roseanne at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was interesting. I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was fun. I like seeing the dynamic with Supergirl and Livewire and Psy, even Girl. I like the way that bounced off each other. Granted, they forced that premise really hard.
Yeah, really.
But taking that aside, I thought it was fun. And I liked the whole bit with Ruby and Alex. I thought that was really good. So I like that a lot. So I give it 8.5 awkward text messages because
very
awkward.
Nice. And how did you like Livewire's intro music? Barracuda.
Yes, by heart. Yes, because it was one of the things like because that was one of the songs that was used in Charlie's Angels, the Drew Barrymore, which I think was the vibe they were going for.
Yeah, I think so too.
That
I liked it.
Yeah. So
it was in this.
It's a song that's used a lot when you have like women teaming up for something,
right?
Especially an action scene, it gets used a lot.
And if you want to show
a big like a badass woman walking down the hall, you play Barracuda,
right?
In TV show.
It's a great song for that.
It is,
and it fit that situation. It was during the part where she was telling the guy off in the diner. Which I love. Yeah.
And it's got some great guitar. Dun, 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 dun.
Barracuda.
Ooh, Barracuda. Yep. So, all right.
On to the Flash.
The Flash, 411, The Elongated Knight Rises. Rises. Dun, dun, dun.
Wrong hero.
No. This is good.
Yeah, but it's the wrong hero.
Yeah.
He's not a knight, and he doesn't rise. But
he kind of rises.
Well, he can.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like dough in the oven. Rising.
Oh, okay.
Written by Sterling Gates, who wrote the other, big elongated man episode this season.
Mm-hmm.
Comic book writer, writes Supergirl a lot. Or wrote Supergirl recently around the 2000s. And Thomas Pound, and directed by Alexandra LaRoche, probably LaRoche. And I love this episode. Why? Because I'm a huge geek for the 90s Flash TV series, as I've talked about. And this episode gave me this in spades, pretty much. All it needed was Mark Hamill, and it would have been perfect.
And we kind of got Mark Hamill.
Yeah, or maybe John Wesley Shipp. But,
yeah.
But, right, I mean, this whole thing, you've got the return of Corinne Bohrer, who played Prank in the 90s Flash TV series. She was in the final episode, The Trial of the Trickster.
Mm-hmm.
And because there was only one season, but so it was like episode 22. And they brought her back, and they worked in the continuity because she was paired with Mark Hamill back then.
Right.
And so they kind of explained it that, oh, hey, she's the mother of Axel Walker.
Right.
The second Trickster, who we also get the return of. So we get the return of Devin Gray, who we haven't seen since season 1.
Right.
So it's been a while since we've seen him, but because probably Mark Hamill's busy.
You think?
Yeah, I'm thinking this was probably like they wrote this hoping that Mark Hamill would be able to play it, but they brought in Devin Gray because he's the backup.
Maybe.
But.
And as I told you before we started, we got the little picture of Corinne Bohrer as Zoe Clark standing with Mark Hamill.
Right.
As the Trickster from the 1990 series. And it was a picture of them on set with Mark Hamill's daughter.
Right.
And Mark Hamill's daughter was the stand-in for Axel, Devin Gray as Axel.
Yeah.
As a baby. And so Mark Hamill's daughter actually tweeted that she made a cameo on The Flash this week. And it was great. I loved it.
That is awesome. So here's my big question right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if the Trickster and Prank actually happened in the 90s in Central City, who stopped them? Because there was presumably no Flash. So who stopped them back in the day? The police.
The police. They're not super villains.
But you think they would be kind of out of their league if they can hold off, the Flash.
Yeah.
Presumably they would be like
just the police overpowered them or something. I don't know.
I'm hoping that Nightshade is still around. If you remember Nightshade from the original series, that kind of pulp hero kind of character.
Yeah.
If you remember him, but anyway, yeah, I just kind of wondered, well, wouldn't it be? Now here's a really cool thought. What if somehow the John Wesley Shipp Flash somehow existed back then, but was erased from history?
Interesting.
Like somehow that
his own Flashpoint.
Yes. Well, or just that somehow he was forgotten. Because in the comics, remember Jay Garrick, the Justice Society had been around, but everybody forgot them. Forgot them and had to be reminded that they were existed.
I remember.
So what if...
the Watchmen kind of did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what if... I don't think they'll go there, but...
No, I don't think it's something they will never address.
But it would be kind of cool if they did.
It would be kind of cool.
Just a fun little theory.
Fun little idea. That'll be our headcanon.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be a fun idea. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
All
right, so A, B, and C.
Oh, and I do want to talk one thing later on, but because there was some great music that actually was the music that was used in the 90s Flash TV series in this episode.
Awesome.
They used the whole Trickster music theme stuff that was going on.
Very cool.
That was the exact same theme music that was used back in the day.
Awesome. So they repurposed it.
By Shirley Walker from Batman
Very
the Animated
cool.
Series. Yeah.
Very cool.
So that was kind of awesome too. So cheers to Blake Neely, the composer who does all the scores for the CW series shows. I just want to give a nod to that I caught that. And I thought that was a lot of fun.
He's fantastic.
Great,
I probably caught it subliminally.
Great Easter egg. So yeah, it's the Trickster theme music from back in the 90s.
Yeah. Blake is so good at that stuff.
He is good. I'm hoping that'll end up on the soundtracks because that'd be awesome.
All right. A, B, and C. Plastic Man was taken. This is my storyline.
Right. Gee, I wonder who that could be about.
You think?
Maybe.
B story, Acid Burn and Cauldron Bubble.
Right.
And the C story, Heart of Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Yep.
Goldberg. So, yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't watch wrestling.
I don't watch
wrestling. So I'm guessing you're doing something.
No. Just thinking, like.
Okay. Does he say that?
No, but it just, it sounded like a wrestler type thing.
Oh, okay. Goldberg.
Okay. Yeah,
So Goldberg.
When the wrestlers call each other out, in front of the mic.
I'll get you, Goldberg.
I'll get you, Goldberg. Yeah, that kind of thing. That's what I was going for.
I'm sure he has a catchphrase.
I'm sure he does, but I was not watching wrestling when Goldberg was on. So.
I liked him in this though. He was very good.
Yeah.
He called me Dave.
Well, he plays Big Sur, who was a really obscure Flash character.
It's a good beach in California, though.
Yeah. We'll talk
I've
about
been there many times.
We'll talk about that a little later.
What? I have been there many times.
I believe you.
Have you ever been there?
No.
It's not very sandy.
Okay.
It's more rocks than sand. I lived right there.
I believe you.
Okay.
I'm not disputing you.
You're looking at me with smiley face. That's all.
I'm just trying to wonder where you're taking this.
I'm literally telling you I've been there.
Okay.
That's all. It's not a joke.
Okay. All right.
Every time they said it on the show, I was like, oh, yeah, Big Sur. It's spelled differently, though. It's S-U-R, not S-I-R.
You're right.
Big Sur.
But in the comics, it's Big Sur with an I.
S-I-R. I understand that.
Okay. All right.
Does he look like Goldberg in the comics?
Well, he's bald.
All right.
So let's just talk about this. Let's get into this.
Yeah.
Heart of Goldberg, might as well. Okay, so in the comics, Big Sur is a character introduced during the Trial of the Flash storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Character's real name, Doofus T. Ratchet. That's his real name. I'm guessing his first name is Doofus. I'm guessing they're probably going to change it on the show.
To Dave.
To Dave, yes, probably. So essentially this character is just this kind of big lumping prisoner guy that gets kind of turned into a supervillain weapon to use against the Flash. He's given like some armor and a mace, and he's just really strong. So they send him out after the Flash to kind of beat the crap out of him. And which he does. Now, the thing is though, the apparently Big Sur cares for a mouse. And the Flash helps save the mouse, so apparently that helps win Big Sur over to the Flash's side.
Lenny much?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So, he's this very simple guy. And, so anyway, this was not a great, the Trial of the Flash was not a great storyline. We've talked about this last week.
Yeah.
But
did he steal that? I mean, seriously.
Probably.
Well, no. I mean, that's literally a storyline from Steinbeck. Probably. Of Mice and Men. I mean.
Probably. He probably lifted it, yeah.
I'm assuming.
He probably lifted it,
yeah. A big dumb guy like the mouse?
Yeah. And then, yeah. And he, yeah.
Because in turn, Stephen King kind of stole it from
right.
Steinbeck as well.
Right.
So.
Yeah, probably. And that's probably where he stole it.
Wow. Because, of course, Steinbeck is also from the Monterey Valley area.
Oh, I see how you brought
where
all
Big
that to...
Sur kind of is from.
You brought it all around.
I did.
Done. Well done.
You like that?
Well done. Well played.
It's another part of my backstory. My personal
Ooh,
superhero
the secret origin of Karen Lindsay.
That's right.
All right.
Perhaps I am Big Sur.
I'm not sure why you want to be.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm Scarlet Cougar. Don't we know this?
Yeah, exactly. That's your secret identity.
It's not much of a secret if a girl. Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Okay, so yeah, that's part of Goldberg. He's actually helping the Flash in jail right now.
Yeah. But we find out that apparently Barry's dad saved his life.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore he feels like he owes Barry a debt, which he thought he repaid, and by keeping him from getting the crap kicked out of him.
Right, and then Barry turns it around and
he ends up like saving his from getting. Basically, what happens is that Big Sur ends up getting jumped.
Yep.
And Barry steps in because he's the Flash, but he keeps his secret identity for once on the down low.
Right. Yeah, so far he hasn't let it slip yet.
Yeah, give it time. I'm waiting for him to just say, "Oh, by the way, I'm the Flash."
Right. Oh, he'll tell Goldberg.
Probably.
I mean, Big Sur or Dave or whatever.
Yeah, let's just call him Big Sur.
Yeah.
But essentially, they use it and
repositioning these guys so that they hit each other instead of Big Sur.
So that was kind of cool. Yeah, he does basically like a Quicksilver type move where he like moves body parts to kind of so they can punch each other, and he'll just duck out of the way. And
yeah, and he saves Big Sur, and Big Sur says, "Well, now I owe you again." And I'm guessing he's just going to say, "Look, whatever. Yeah, we don't owe each other anything, but
well, Barry,
I could use."
They made a point that like Barry, you probably need some allies in this. Remember, you work for the cops,
right?
And you're in the slammer,
right?
So
yeah, I'm guessing they're just gonna have each other's back on the down low.
Yeah.
So because of course Big Sur doesn't want to broadcast,
and we have the bit of the Flash befriending Big Sur, which is again from the comics. So.
All right, so Acid Burn and Cauldron Bubble. This is the weapon of choice that
Axel likes. Apparently he likes acid.
Axel and Prank have come up with. It's Prank that came up with this formula.
Yeah.
And it's from trial and error because he had all these kinds of things that he was going to throw at the Stretchy Man.
Yeah. Which is this identity that some reporter calls Ralph.
Right.
Because he doesn't give a good name.
Right. And she says, "So I'm here with the Stretchy Man." No, that's not. And he goes, "No," right at the end of the broadcast.
Right.
And
no.
So he throws all these things at him, and the acid is the one thing. It goes right through the costume, and it burns his knee, and he loses all of his confidence.
Yeah, Ralph freaks out. He's like, "You told me that I wouldn't get, hurt."
Yeah, and
you told me I was totally polymerized or whatever.
And I would say he's a total coward, except for Barry has gone through these same things.
Yeah.
So, it's hard for me to criticize.
Well, to be fair, Ralph does, he's about ready to walk out the door, and then he steps up to the plate.
He sure does.
Which is what a hero does. You conquer your fears, and he goes, one of the things I really liked about this episode, there's a lot of things I liked about this episode, but one of the things is that Ralph ends up going to Barry, and Barry gives him a superhero pep talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked that scene.
I did too.
And it was good, and it got Ralph on the right track, and he steps to the plate and does his thing as the elongated man.
He essentially says to Ralph, it's not having fear, it's conquering fear.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like, you're going to be afraid, but it's just like what you do after that.
Right.
Like it's how you respond to it.
Right. And I thought that was very good. It's good advice. It's advice that he actually followed.
Right.
During his growing phase. And Ralph takes that to heart. He sees that his teammates are in trouble on the little television, and Iris says, you might want to take this, and he opens up his suit and he says groovy,
Yeah,
and,
which was a nice little nod to the Evil Dead.
Yep. And
Groovy.
Yeah.
All Bruce Campbell.
Very Bruce Campbell-y. And we see him, helping to take down the bad guy. Now, it wasn't all him, because as we saw, it was really Harry kind of diffusing the acid in time for it not to work. But he helped a lot.
Right.
So there was that.
He kept it from getting all over Cisco and Caitlin.
Right.
So he rescued them.
And I do love the new suit. It's very nice looking. You're not a fan?
I'm not a fan. I want to see more purple.
It is reminiscent of the purple suit. It has the badge on it.
Yeah, but I would like to see a more vivid purple.
I'm okay with. I like how they mute that down a little bit. I can see where the Flash has to be red.
Yeah.
But I don't really mind if it's not Dayglow purple for the Elongated Man. I really don't mind if it's not.
I love purple. Oh,
I know. Yeah, I know. Purple's nice, but not many people know what his suit is, and it has gone through some changes. It was red.
And then that would have been another thing I would have been happy with.
Red on the side,
if they'd done red, yellow, and black.
Yeah, but the Flash is red.
I understand.
So I can see why they didn't. I assumed they would pick the purple instead.
But they had the Flash and the Elongated Man both being red in the Justice League of America.
I know, but I'm saying on this show.
On the show, yeah. If you want to identify Ralph more,
right?
That's why I would think purple would be the way.
And they did kind of choose a maroon color, like a purple, but like eggplant purple for the jacket. I mean, it was the color blocking was correct. It was just
at the very least. At least he's not in that little like paper thin
thing.
Yeah, the thing that looks like it's made out of Kleenex.
The thing that kind of looked like, and I don't know if you remember this, but there was a Tron guy.
Oh yeah, Tron.
It kind of looked like the Tron guy's outfit.
Well, kind of. The Tron guy's. To be fair, Tron guy's costume was better than this.
Way better.
Yeah.
But
the Ralph's prototype suit.
Yes.
But he does at least finally have his super suit.
Yeah, I think he looks way better in this suit.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
And he's got his code name, so he's officially the Elongated Man.
Right.
And I'm very happy about that.
It's a very good approximation, I think, of his suit. It has the glasses, and if you notice, it's baggy in some places where his other suit was baggy, right at the wrists.
Right.
And, and it's like fingerless gloves, like his old suit and everything. I mean, it's fairly close. It's just the color isn't as vivid, and there's little pieces that aren't the same. But I do kind of like it. I don't know. It looks way better on him. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely an improvement. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I dig it. So yeah, that's that. And of course, he says, "I elongate, man," and that's where they get his name, the Elongated Man. And I do like the conversation they have about the Elongated Man in there.
Yes.
In the room after he comes back, and he says, "It's not going to stick. It's going to stick."
It's totally going to stick. Yes.
There was also a conversation they had when he came back after the acid, and they said, "Well, at least we found your kryptonite." And he says, "What's kryptonite?" And they're all like, "Oh, come on." Well, they don't have kryptonite on their world, right? But no, they all know what kryptonite.
Don't. Well, they know Supergirl.
Right. They all know.
They know what kryptonite is.
Right, but they look at each other like he should know.
Right.
Well,
he hasn't met anybody yet. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So it's an in-joke to them, but that's not very nice.
Well, it's just an accidental oversight.
Yeah, it was mean.
That's all right.
So
and I did like that now Cisco and Wells have this like kind of this go-to phrase that they go to activate Caitlin as Killer Frost by reminding her of this mean girl that used to torment her in high school.
Yeah, that was not very nice though. But
it worked.
It did. It worked. I like all the dynamics on the team. Cisco and Harry always kind of brushing up against each other. That Harry and Cisco are just not all there with Ralph yet.
Yeah.
Harry and Ralph just cannot stand each other.
Well, to be fair, like Harry and Vibe didn't get along at first either.
I know.
So that's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And
I like how Cisco refused to name Ralph. And then after Ralph gets the elongated man, he says, well, you should have let me name
Well, he's like, I've been waiting. You gave me nothing.
Exactly.
Ralph kept going to him. And he's like, when you going to come up with my name?
Right.
And
you should have let me name you.
Yeah, it's like, I did.
And Caitlin is like, yeah. Rub it in.
No respect for the elongated man.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's a great way to give him that name. Yeah. Because, of course, he wouldn't have come up with elongated man.
No.
It would have been a cleverer name.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just a delightful episode. We see the return of I'm not going to name him here, but a somewhat interesting doll.
Yes. The Bebo doll.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Bebo's back and gets destroyed. Yay.
Several times.
That never gets old, as far as I'm concerned.
I know.
So it was a nice nod to Legends.
Yeah, it was. So anytime we're in a place where there's toys being made, we should always see Bebo.
Probably. It's probably going to be a running gag now.
Now it'll have to be on Supergirl because when Wynn's father comes back as the toy maker.
Oh, that's the Toy Man.
Yeah, sorry. Toy Man.
Yeah.
He should have Bebo dolls.
He should. That's a good point. Yeah, they should kind of keep that gag going.
It should be next on.
Yeah. Like some kind of like flying Bebo drones or something. Yeah, that kill people. But Sterling Gates, he's the guy who wrote Elongated Journey into Night or whatever, the previous Elongated Man major episode.
Right.
And I never get tired of Sterling Gates writing Elongated Man. I think he writes the best Ralph because he writes him more with heart than some of the other writers do.
Mm-hmm.
Not so callous and selfish.
Right.
So
and funny.
And yeah, the guy that plays Ralph,
he's so good.
Hartley Sawyer is perfect casting as Ralph.
Because his face does that.
Well, he does that. He's basically like Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey.
Old Jim Carrey, classic Jim Carrey before he went crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you kind of like Jim Carrey.
When you liked him.
When we like Jim Carrey. So it's perfect casting to have someone who's essentially Jim Carrey playing the Elongated Man.
Right.
And it works so well. So and
you notice when its eyebrow goes up, it's like his whole face kind of it's really great. I love it.
And he can just mug for the camera. He does this smirks and twitches and all this. It's perfect.
Really
great casting. So all right. So anything else about this episode?
No, I'm good. Yeah. Unless you have something.
No.
I did. I like the vibrating hand through the glass.
Yeah, there was a bit where So Barry vibrates his hand through the prison glass where he's, where you typically phone people like your loved ones on the other side so you can talk to them. So he wants to touch Iris's hand, so he vibrates through.
Yeah, so they can touch hands.
And he tries to keep his wrist. If you notice, his wrist was moving.
His wrist was still vibrating,
but his fingers were solid on the other side. So,
yeah,
the feels.
Yeah. Well, they are just married.
Exactly.
Makes me sad. All right. So, what did we rate it?
I love this episode, obviously, because it was a major throwback to the 90s Flash TV series. It's a big Elongated Man episode written by Sterling Gates. I loved it. 8.5 Bebos melted with acid.
Yep.
Because that never gets old to see.
Yeah, it was great. I give it 8.5 way better looking costumes.
Yeah.
I liked it too.
Definitely a step up from last week's episode.
Yeah, definitely. Last week was just
now,
bad.
Again, we're 2 episodes into the Trial of the Flash storyline, and Yeah.
Well, you notice we loved this episode and it had very little flash.
Yeah,
in it.
so the question is, when is Barry going to get out of the slammer? Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm thinking at least 4 episodes of this.
Ugh,
So 2 more at least, I'm guessing.
probably.
Hopefully it gets out soon. I don't want this for the rest of the season.
We had no thinker in this episode.
0 thinker in this episode.
And very little.
No mechanic.
Barry. So almost no forward movement on that storyline
Yeah.
whatsoever.
But it was still, I still loved it.
Oh, yeah, I love this. That is a testament to how much I hate that storyline right now.
Even though this was technically a filler, it was good.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how.
This is how filler should be.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So that is the
That's part
end
1.
of side A.
Yes.
Please flip over.
There's an old school reference to if you're a vinyl snob.
That's right.
You know
if
how
you're
to
a hipster.
if you're a hipster with your turntables, flip from side A to side B.
Did you see my hipster tweet the other day?
No.
I saw 2 hipsters that were old enough to have been hipsters before being a hipster was cool.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right. So come on back for Black Lightning and what else?
Black Lightning, Arrow, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
The side B.
Yes.
So you can see us at Twitter at Fandom Zonecast, Facebook at facebook.com/Fandom Zone Podcast. Email us fandomzonecast@gmail.com. You can listen and subscribe to us in Apple Podcast and leave us a review. I am at Aliveria and at Allie's Stuff on Twitter. And you are?
Of course, at Charles Skaggs on the Twitter machine, at Charles Skaggs on the Instagram, Google Plus for all you crazy kids on the Google Plus, Facebook, of course, at Charles Skaggs, and my blog of geeky things.
Damn good coffee and hot.
Damn good coffee and hot.
Right.
Where I talk about all the comic book shows that we talk about here on the Fandom Zone podcast and more. So lots of comic book sci-fi news, all kinds of goodness, stuff about my other podcast that I do for the Southgate Media Group, Next Stop Everywhere, and Ghostwood Twin Peaks podcast, and the upcoming Titan Talk, the Titans podcast.
Awesome.
So check those out.
So
come on back for part 2, and we'll see you later right here, Phantom Zone Podcast.
That's right.
Bye, everybody. I'm elongated, man.